A wild girl battles a wolf pack to save a father and daughter trapped in their car. Will they survive the night? Like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell to catch our latest stories. You won't want to miss what's coming next. The remote forest road 60 miles north of Asheville stretched endlessly under a fading September sky in 2005. Its asphalt cracked and littered with fallen leaves, flanked by towering pines and dense underbrush, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and pine needles. A chilling silence broken only by the distant hoot of an owl. And Daniel Jackson, a 38-year-old single father with a deep ebony skin, gripped the steering wheel of his 1995 Ford F-150 pickup truck. Its faded red paint chipped from years of use, his dark eyes narrowing as the engine coughed and sputtered. The vehicle lurching to a stop with a groan, the dashboard lights dimming before going dark, his heart sinking as he glanced at his 8-year-old daughter Lyra in the passenger seat, her small frame curled up in a hand-me-down jacket, her brown eyes wide with worry, her voice a soft tremble. "Daddy, what's wrong? Why'd we stop?" Daniel forced a reassuring smile, his voice steady despite the unease creeping up his spine. "It's okay, sweetheart. Just a little car trouble. I'll fix it. We'll be home soon." But as he popped the hood and stepped out, the forest seemed to close in, the shadows lengthening, the temperature dropping, their camping gear still packed in the truck bed after a weekend in the Blue Ridge Mountains. A trip meant to bring them closer after years of struggling since Nia's mother left. Their tent and sleeping bags tied down with bungee cords, a beat-up Coleman cooler holding the last of their hot dogs and soda cans, and now stranded on this desolate road with no way to call for help. His flip phone, a Nokia 3310, showing no bars, the nearest gas station 20 miles back. A payphone, their only hope if they could reach it. Daniel's instincts sharpened, his years as a mechanic at a local garage giving him confidence as he tinkered with the engine. Checking the carburetor and battery cables, his hands stained with grease, but a low growl cut through the silence, freezing him in place, his head snapping up, his breath catching as he saw them. 6 wolves, their gray fur matted, their yellow eyes glinting in the twilight, emerging from the trees 50 feet away, their snarls growing louder, their pack circling closer, and Daniel's heart raced, his voice a sharp whisper as he backed toward the truck. "Nia, lock the doors, now." Nia scrambled to obey, her small hands fumbling with the manual lock, her voice a panicked cry. "Daddy, they're coming! There's more!" And Daniel dove into the cab, slamming the door just as the lead wolf lunged, its teeth snapping inches from the window, the glass shuddering under the impact, the pack surrounding the truck, their howls echoing through the forest, their claws scraping against the metal, and Daniel pulled Nia into his lap, her small body trembling, his arms wrapping around her, his voice a desperate murmur. "It's okay, baby. I've got you. They can't get in." But the wolves were relentless, their numbers growing, 8 now, their eyes locked onto the truck, their snarls a terrifying chorus. The hours stretching on, the sky darkening, the temperature plummeting, and Daniel's mind raced, the windows holding for now but the cracks in the windshield spreading, the wolves taking turns lunging, their weight rocking the truck, and Nia's sobs broke his heart, her voice a whisper. "Are we going to die, Daddy?" Daniel's jaw tightened, his resolve hardening, his voice fierce. "No, we're not. I'll get us out of this, I promise." But as the 3rd hour ticked by, the lead wolf slammed into the driver's side door, the metal buckling, the window shattering, shards of glass raining down, and Daniel grabbed a tire iron from the floorboard, his voice a shout. "Stay down, Nia!" As he swung at the wolf's snout, the beast yelping, retreating, but the pack closed in tighter, their howls deafening, and Daniel knew they couldn't hold out much longer. The forest offering no escape, their survival hanging by a thread, the wolves' hunger driving them into a frenzy, and just when hope seemed lost, a sharp whistle pierced the air, the wolves freezing, their heads turning as a figure emerged from the trees. A woman, her silhouette lit by the last rays of sunlight. Her presence a beacon in the darkness. Her voice a commanding shout in a language Daniel didn't understand. The wolves hesitating, their growls faltering, and Daniel's breath caught. His eyes locked on her, the promise of rescue igniting a flicker of hope in the nightmare that had consumed their night. A sharp whistle pierced the air, the wolves freezing, their heads turning as a figure emerged from the trees. A woman, her silhouette lit by the last rays of sunlight, her presence a beacon in the darkness, her voice a commanding shout in a language Daniel didn't understand. The wolves hesitating, their growls faltering, and Daniel's breath caught, his eyes locked on her, the promise of rescue igniting a flicker of hope in the nightmare that had consumed their night. The woman stepping closer, her features illuminated by the faint moonlight filtering through the pines, her pale skin glowing, her long, tangled hair cascading over her shoulders, her body draped in a patchwork of animal hides, her beauty striking, almost otherworldly, her green eyes fierce with determination. A crude spear in one hand, a bow slung across her back, and without hesitation, she charged, her spear thrusting into the lead wolf's flank, the beast yelping as it stumbled, blood staining its fur, the pack scattering in confusion. And she drew her bow, an arrow flying with lethal precision, striking another wolf in the throat, its body collapsing with a gurgle. The remaining wolves snarling but retreating, their instincts overridden by fear. And Daniel watched in awe, his voice a stunned whisper. "Who is she?" As the woman turned to him, her gaze piercing, her voice low and commanding in broken English. "Out now, safe, follow." Her accent thick, her words clipped. And Daniel didn't hesitate, his instincts screaming to trust her, his voice urgent as he pushed Naya out the passenger door. "Go, baby, stay close to her." Naya clinging to his hand as they stumbled onto the road. The woman, Lyra, as she'd later introduce herself, leading them into the forest, her movements swift and silent, her spear at the ready, the wolves' howls fading into the distance, and Daniel's legs burned as they followed, Nia's small hand trembling in his. The forest swallowing them whole, the path twisting through dense underbrush, the moonlight barely penetrating the canopy, and after what felt like miles, Lyra stopped at a hidden clearing, a makeshift camp nestled beneath a rocky overhang, a small fire pit smoldering in the center, animal pelts draped over branches, a stream trickling nearby, and Lyra gestured for them to sit, her voice softer now. "Safe here, no wolf, rest." Her eyes scanning the darkness, her bow still within reach. And Daniel sank to the ground, his chest heaving, Naya curling into his side, her voice a whisper. "Daddy, she saved us. Who is she?" Daniel shook his head, his eyes locked on Lyra as she knelt by the fire, coaxing it to life with a flint and tinder. Her movements practiced, her presence a mystery, and he spoke, his voice steady but filled with gratitude. "I'm Daniel. This is Nia. Thank you. You saved our lives back there. Who are you? How did you—" Lyra's eyes met his, a flicker of curiosity in her gaze, her voice halting as she searched for words. "Lyra, I live here, long time, alone. Wolves, I know. I fight." And Daniel's mind reeled, the thought of a woman surviving alone in this wilderness, speaking broken English, her life a stark contrast to the world he knew, a world of small-town garages, AM radio, and Saturday morning cartoons for Nia. And as the fire crackled, casting shadows across Lyra's face, Daniel felt a strange pull, a mix of awe and admiration, her strength a lifeline in their darkest moment. But he needed to know more, his voice low to avoid waking Nia, who'd started to doze. "How long have you been out here, living like this, alone?" Lyra's gaze dropped to the flames, her fingers tracing the edge of her bow, her voice a whisper. "Many years since small, family, gone, men with guns. I hide, I learn." Her hands gesturing to the forest around them, her spear resting within reach. And Daniel's chest tightened, the weight of her words sinking in. The image of a child surviving alone in this wilderness, learning to hunt, to fight, to speak only fragments of a language she'd pieced together from fleeting encounters. And he pressed gently, his voice soft. You've been here since you were a kid. How did you survive? Who taught you? Lyra's eyes softened, a rare vulnerability breaking through, her voice reverent. Mother, before she die, teach me, hunt, hide, listen to forest. I, I watch, I learn. No one come, I stay. And Daniel nodded, his admiration growing, her resilience a mirror to his own struggles as a single father, raising Nia in a world that hadn't always been kind. But Lyra's world was something else entirely, a sanctuary carved from survival, her camp a testament to her ingenuity, hand-carved tools, a woven basket of roots, a small altar of stones and feathers beneath the overhang, a shrine to something sacred, and Daniel pointed to it. His curiosity piqued. What's that for, those stones, the feathers? Lyra's expression turned solemn, her voice low. For spirits of forest, of family. I pray they watch, they protect. And Daniel felt a pang, the simplicity of her faith a stark contrast to the chaos of his life back in Asheville. His days spent under the hoods of cars, his nights listening to staticky AM radio, hoping for a better tomorrow for Nia. And as Lyra tore off a piece of the roasted rabbit she'd been cooking, handing it to him, her voice firm, eat, strong, morning we move, forest, not safe long. Daniel took the meat, the warmth seeping into his fingers, his stomach growling as he woke Nia gently, her small eyes blinking open, her voice groggy. Daddy, is it safe now? And Daniel nodded, his voice reassuring. We're safe, sweetheart. Eat this. Lyra made it for us. Nia took a small bite, her eyes lighting up at the taste, her voice a whisper. Thank you, Lyra. You're really strong, like a superhero. And Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile, the first Daniel had seen, her voice soft. Superhero. No, I protect, like you. Her eyes meeting Daniel's, a spark of connection flickering between them, but the moment was shattered by a distant rustle. Lyra's head snapping toward the sound, her body tensing, her spear in hand as she stood, her voice a sharp hiss. Quiet! Danger! Stay! And Daniel pulled Nia close, his heart racing as Lyra crept toward the edge of the clearing. Her movements silent, her bow drawn, and Daniel's eyes followed her, his breath shallow, the forest holding its breath. And after a tense moment, Lyra returned, her expression grim, her voice low. Boar big, not safe, we go, higher ground, now. And Daniel nodded, his trust in her absolute, his voice quick as he scooped Nia into his arms. Lead the way, we're with you. Lyra doused the fire with a handful of dirt, her camp packed in moments, a woven sack slung over her shoulder. And she led them deeper into the forest, the terrain growing steeper, the air thinner. Nia's small hand clutching Daniel's as they climbed, the moonlight guiding their path. And after an hour, they reached a plateau, a hidden grove surrounded by ancient oaks, a cave carved into the rock face, its entrance draped with vines. And Lyra gestured inside, her voice steady. Here, safe, sleep. I watch. Daniel stepped into the cave, its walls cool and damp, a small pile of pelts in the corner, a natural spring trickling in at the back, and he set Nia down, her small body curling into the pelts, her voice a sleepy murmur. Daddy, I like Lyra, she's nice. And Daniel smiled, his heart swelling, his voice soft. I know, baby, I like her too. But as he turned to Lyra, who stood at the cave's entrance, her silhouette framed against the night, her eyes scanning the darkness, he felt something deeper, a pull he couldn't name, her strength, her mystery, drawing him in, and he joined her. His voice low. You don't have to keep watch alone, I can help. I owe you that much. Lyra's gaze met his, her expression unreadable, her voice a whisper. You, good man, Daniel, I trust, watch with me. And as they stood together, the forest whispering around them, the first threads of a bond began to weave, a bond that would soon be tested by the dangers lurking in Lyra's untamed world. The cave's cool air wrapped around them as the first light of dawn seeped through the vine-covered entrance, the forest outside stirring with the chirps of early birds, a deceptive calm after the night's tension. And Daniel stood beside Lyra, his eyes heavy from a sleepless night of keeping watch, his muscles stiff but his mind alert. Lyra's presence a steadying force as she scanned the grove beyond, her spear in hand, her voice a soft murmur. Morning, safe now. Eat, then move. Her green eyes meeting his, a quiet warmth in her gaze that hadn't been there before. And Daniel nodded, his voice low. Thanks for letting me help. I feel better knowing you're not doing this alone. Lyra's faint smile returned, her voice halting. You, strong, Daniel, good father. And Daniel's chest tightened, the simple words stirring something deep, a connection he hadn't expected. His life as a mechanic in Asheville, a world away from this untamed wilderness. Yet here with Lyra, he felt seen in a way he hadn't since Nia's mother left. And as they woke Nia, her small yawn breaking the silence, Daniel handed her a strip of leftover rabbit, his voice gentle. Eat up, sweetheart. We're following Lyra today. She's keeping us safe. Nia's eyes lit up, her voice bright. I like Lyra. Daddy, she's like a forest princess. And Lyra's smile widened, her hand ruffling Nia's hair, her voice soft. Princess, no, but I protect you, little one. In the moment, a fragile thread of trust weaving between them. But the forest had other plans. Lyra's body tensing as she stood, her eyes narrowing at a faint sound, her voice sharp. Men, close. Bad men, we hide now. And Daniel's heart raced, his hand grabbing Nia's as Lyra led them deeper into the cave, a narrow passage opening into a smaller chamber, its walls slick with moss, the darkness swallowing them as they crouched. Lyra's finger to her lips, her bow drawn, and Daniel's breath shallow. The sound of boots crunching leaves growing louder, voices carrying through the grove. 3 men, their tones rough, one barking. Tracks lead here. Somebody's been living out here. Find them. They might have supplies. And Daniel's stomach churned, the realization sinking in. Poachers, likely armed, their intentions clear. And Lyra's eyes burned with a fierce determination, her voice a whisper. Stay. I go. Stop them. But Daniel grabbed her arm, his voice urgent. You can't take them alone. I'm coming with you. Nia stays here. Lyra hesitated, her gaze searching his, then nodded, her voice firm. Careful. Follow. And they crept back to the cave's entrance, Nia's small whimper echoing behind them. Daddy, don't go. But Daniel knelt, his voice steady. I'll be back. Baby, stay quiet, I promise. And he followed Lyra, her movements silent as they slipped into the grove. The poachers now visible. 3 men in faded camo jackets, one carrying a hunting rifle, another a machete, the third a coil of rope. Their faces hard, their voices cold. If they've got food, we take it. If they fight, we bury 'em. And Lyra's jaw tightened, her arrow notched, her voice a hiss. They not take my home, my forest. And before Daniel could react, she loosed the arrow, the shaft striking the rifleman's shoulder, his scream echoing as he dropped the gun, the other 2 spinning toward them, the machete wielder charging, his blade raised, and Daniel acted on instinct. His tire iron, still in his pack, swinging in a desperate arc, the metal cracking against the man's wrist, the machete clattering to the ground. But the third man lunged at Lyra, his rope snapping like a whip, catching her ankle, yanking her off balance, and Daniel shouted, Lyra! As he tackled the man, his fist pounding into the poacher's face, blood spraying, Lyra scrambling free, her spear driving into the man's leg, His scream cut short as he collapsed, the rifleman still groaning, clutching his shoulder, and the machete wielder, now disarmed, bolted into the forest, his curses fading, Lyra's chest heaving as she stood, her voice a growl. They come back, more. We must go, deeper. And Daniel nodded, his adrenaline surging, his voice steady. I'm with you, let's get Nia. They returned to the chamber, Nia's small arms wrapping around Daniel as he lifted her, her voice trembling. I heard fighting, are you okay? Daddy? And Daniel kissed her forehead, his voice soft. I'm okay, baby. Lyra kept us safe. We're moving now. Lyra led them out, her camp abandoned, her woven sack slung over her shoulder, her eyes scanning the forest as they descended the plateau, the terrain growing denser, the air thicker with the scent of moss and earth. And as they walked, Daniel's gaze lingered on Lyra, her strength, her fearlessness, stirring something deeper, a warmth he couldn't ignore. His voice low as Nia trailed a few steps behind. You didn't have to fight for us. Lyra, but you did. Why? Lyra's eyes met his, her voice soft. You, good, Daniel. Nia, good, I feel here. Her hand touching to her chest, her words simple but heavy. And Daniel's heart skipped, the bond between them growing, a fragile thread in the wild. But the frost held more dangers, its shadows hiding threats they couldn't yet see, their journey together only beginning. The dense forest pressed in as they trekked deeper, the canopy above blotting out the midday sun, the air thick with the hum of insects and the scent of wet earth. Lyra leading the way with a predator's grace, her spear cutting through vines, her green eyes sharp. Daniel following close, his hand gripping Nia's, her small steps faltering on the uneven ground, her voice a tired whisper. Daddy, are we going home soon? And Daniel's heart clenched, his voice gentle but firm. Soon. Baby, we're with Lyra now. She's taking us somewhere safe. But the poacher's attack lingered in his mind, their threat of returning with more men a shadow over their fragile peace. And Lyra's pace quickened, her voice low. Forest angry, men bring bad. We go deeper. My secret place. Her words stirring a mix of curiosity and unease in Daniel. The idea of a hidden sanctuary in this untamed wilderness, both a promise and a risk. And after hours of navigating tangled roots and rocky streams, they reached a narrow ravine, its walls steep and moss-covered, a faint mist rising from the bottom, Lyra gesturing to a hidden path, her voice steady. Down, careful, safe there. And they descended, the air cooling as they went, Nia clinging to Daniel's hand, her small gasp echoing as the ravine opened into a breathtaking valley, a hidden oasis untouched by the outside world, a shimmering lake at its center, surrounded by wildflowers and ancient trees, crude shelters woven from branches dotting the shore, and Lyra's eyes softened, her voice proud. My home, safe. No men find my head. Daniel's breath caught, the beauty of the valley a stark contrast to the dangers they'd faced. Nia's voice awed. It's like a fairy tale. Daddy, can we stay? But Daniel's gaze shifted to Lyra, her strength, her solitude, stirring a question he couldn't ignore. His voice low as Nia ran to the lake's edge, splashing in the shallow water. Lyra, this place, it's incredible. But you can't stay here forever. Those men will come back. There's a whole world out there. Schools for Nia, doctors, safety, I can take you with us. If you'll come. Lyra's eyes widened, her body tensing, her voice a mix of fear and longing. World outside. I hear men speak. Bad things. I not know. I scared. And Daniel stepped closer, his hand brushing hers, his voice earnest. I'll be with you. I'll help you. You don't have to be alone anymore. Lyra's gaze searched his, the warmth between them undeniable, her voice a whisper. You stay with me. I go. And Daniel nodded, his heart swelling, the decision made. But the forest had other plans, a low rumble shaking the ground. Lyra's head snapping up, her voice sharp. Earth, move. Danger. Run. And Daniel scooped Naya into his arms, her small scream echoing as the ravine walls began to crumble. A landslide triggered by the poacher's earlier dynamite blast in the area, rocks tumbling down, the path they'd taken collapsing, and Lyra led them toward the lake, her voice urgent. Water, safe, go. They sprinted, the ground splitting behind them, dust choking the air, a boulder crashing inches from Daniel, his legs burning as he held Nia tight, her small arms around his neck, and they reached the lake, diving into the shallows, the icy water shocking their senses, Lyra pulling them behind a cluster of reeds, her spear raised, her eyes scanning the ravine as the landslide roared, the valley trembling, and after what felt like an eternity, the shaking stopped, the dust settling. The path out of the valley now buried under tons of rubble. Lyra's face pale, her voice trembling. Wait, gone. We trapped. But Daniel's resolve hardened, his voice steady. We'll find another way, I promised you. We're getting out together. And Lyra nodded, her hand gripping his, the bond between them a lifeline in the chaos. Nia's small voice breaking the silence. Daddy, I'm scared, but I trust you. And Daniel kissed her forehead, his heart set on a new path. The journey out of Lyra's hidden world, now a fight for survival, the outside world waiting, its challenges unknown, but its promise undeniable. The dense mist clung to the forest floor as Daniel, Lyra, and Naya trekked along the lake's edge, the landslide's aftermath forcing them to find a new route out of the hidden valley, the air heavy with the scent of wet stone and pine, their clothes damp from the icy water, Daniel's arm around Naya to keep her steady, her small teeth chattering, while Lyra scouted ahead, her movements tense, her spear probing the underbrush, her green eyes darting to every shadow. And after hours of navigating a steep, winding path through a narrow gorge, they emerged onto a ridge, the forest thinning, the faint hum of a distant highway cutting through the silence, a sound Lyra had never heard, her body freezing, her voice a whisper. What noise, Daniel? And Daniel's heart lifted, his voice steady. That's the road, civilization. We're almost there. You'll see. Lyra's gaze held a mix of fear and curiosity, her hand tightening on her spear, but she nodded. Her trust in him absolute, and they descended, the highway coming into view, a narrow two-lane road with faded yellow lines, a rusted sign reading Asheville 55 miles swaying in the breeze, and Daniel flagged in on a passing logging truck. Its driver, a grizzled man in a flannel shirt, eyeing them warily but agreeing to give them a ride. Lyra's unease palpable as she climbed into the cab, her first time in a vehicle, her hands clutching her spear, Nia whispering, It's okay. Lyra, it's like a big car. And the drive to Asheville was a blur, Lyra's eyes wide as the forest gave way to small-town streets, gas stations with flickering neon signs, diners with jukeboxes playing old country tunes, the world of 2005 a jarring contrast to her wilderness. And Daniel brought them to his modest one-story home on the edge of town, its paint peeling, a small porch with a rocking chair creaking in the wind, and he led Lyra inside, her steps hesitant, her voice a murmur. This? Your home? So many things. Her eyes darting to the rotary phone on the wall, the black and white TV in the corner, Nia's crayons scattered on the kitchen table. And Daniel smiled, his voice gentle. It's not much, but it's ours. You're safe here. I'll show you everything. The days that followed a whirlwind of adjustment, Daniel teaching Lyra the basics of modern life, starting with language. His evening spent with a tattered English dictionary, pointing to objects, spoon, chair. Window, Lyra repeating the words, her accent thick but her determination fierce. Naya giggling as Lyra mispronounced fork as falk, her small voice encouraging. You're doing great. Lyra, you'll talk like us soon. and Daniel showed her how to use the stove. The gas flame startling her at first, her laughter filling the house as she tasted her first pancake. The sweetness of revelation. But the outside world was less kind. Their trips to the local market drawing stares. Lyra's animal hides and bare feet, a stark contrast to the townsfolk in their jeans and sneakers. Whispers following them. Who's that wild woman with Daniel? She don't belong here. And Lyra's shoulders tensed, her voice low. Look, not like wrong here, but Daniel took her hand, his voice firm. You're not wrong, you're learning. They'll see who you are. I see you. And Lyra's eyes softened, her hand squeezing his, the bond between them deepening. Her first English sentence a halting victory a week later. I like you, Daniel. Her words a spark that set his heart ablaze. But challenges persisted. Lyra struggling with the noise of the town, the honking cars, the chatter of neighbors. Her instincts screaming to flee back to the forest. And one night, as Daniel tucked Naya into bed, her small voice a whisper, Daddy, is Lyra staying forever? I don't want her to go. Daniel's throat tightened, his voice soft. I don't want her to go either, baby. I'll make sure she stays. And he found Lyra on the porch, her eyes on the stars, her voice trembling. Forest, quiet, this, loud. Not fit. But Daniel sat beside her, his hand finding hers, his voice steady. You fit with us, me and Naya. We need you. I'll help you, as long as it takes. And Lyra leaned into him, her head on his shoulder, her voice a whisper. I stay for you. The decision a turning point, their lives intertwining in the small house. The world of 2005, a challenge they'd face together. Lyra's journey into modernity just beginning. Her strength and spirit, a light in Daniel's life. A light he'd fight to keep. The crisp October air swept through Asheville in 2005, carrying the scent of fallen leaves and chimney smoke. The small town buzzing with its annual harvest festival. But inside Daniel's modest home, a different kind of warmth bloomed. Lyra's laughter echoing as she flipped a pancake on the stove. Her English now steadier after weeks of practice. Her voice a proud. I make good, yes? And Daniel grinned, his dark eyes soft with affection, his voice warm. Better than me. Lyra, you're a natural. Nia clapping from the kitchen table, her small voice bright. You're the best, Lyra. I want you to make pancakes forever. And Lyra's smile widened, her green eyes meeting Daniel's, a shared understanding passing between them. The months since leaving the forest forging a bond deeper than words. Lyra's adjustment to modernity, not without struggle. The townsfolk's stares and whispers a constant hurdle. One shopkeeper even refusing her service, muttering, We don't serve her kind. Go back to the woods. The words cutting deep. Lyra's fists clenching, her voice trembling. I try. I learn why they hate. But Daniel had pulled her close, his voice fierce. They're wrong, not you. You're more than they'll ever be. I see you. Naya sees you. And his support became her anchor. Their evenings spent on the porch, Daniel teaching her to read with Naya's old picture books, her finger tracing the words. C-A-T, cat. Her laughter a melody as she mastered each one. Nia curled between them, her small voice. You're my best friend, Lyra. The trio becoming a family in every way but name. And Daniel knew it was time. His heart set on a future he'd once thought impossible. His voice steady one evening as they sat by the fire. Nia asleep upstairs. Lyra, I've never met anyone like you, strong, kind. You've changed our lives. I love you. I want you to stay. Not just today, but forever. Will you marry me? Lyra's breath hitched, her eyes shimmering, her voice a whisper. Love me. I love you, Daniel. Yes, I stay, I marry. And Daniel pulled her into his arms. Their kiss sealing a promise, the warmth of the fire mirroring the warmth in their hearts. But the path to their wedding wasn't without challenges. The town's prejudice rearing its head. a group of neighbors petitioning to keep outsiders out, their whispers turning to threats. One scrawling, "Go back to the wait" on Daniel's door, and Lyra's resolve wavered, her voice trembling. "I bring trouble, Daniel. I go, you safe." But Daniel's jaw tightened, his voice unyielding. "You're not going anywhere. We're a family. We face this together." And he rallied the few who'd accepted Lyra, the diner owner who'd grown fond of her pancake orders, the librarian who'd helped her read, their support a shield against the hate. And on a clear November morning, they stood in a small clearing just outside town, a simple wooden arch adorned with wildflowers, the harvest festival's music a faint hum in the distance. Daniel in a borrowed suit, his dark hands steady as he held Lyra's, her animal hides replaced with a simple white dress the librarian had sewn, her beauty radiant, her green eyes shining with joy, Naya as their flower girl, her small hands scattering petals, her voice a squeal. "You look like a princess, Lyra." And the preacher, an old friend of Daniel's, spoke softly. "We gathered to join Daniel and Lyra in love, a love that has overcome every obstacle." Their vows simple but heartfelt, Daniel's voice steady. "Lyra, you brought light to our lives. I promise to stand by you, always." And Lyra's, her English clear. "Daniel, you give me home. I love you. Nia, forever." The small crowd cheering as they kissed, Naya wrapping her arms around them, her voice bright. "We're a real family now." The reception a modest affair, tables set with checkered cloths, neighbors sharing homemade pies, the diner owner playing Hank Williams on a battered radio, Daniel and Lyra dancing under the autumn sun, Nia twirling beside them, the town's hostility fading in the face of their joy, Lyra's laughter a testament to her triumph, her journey from the wild to this moment a miracle. And as the sun set, Daniel held her close, his voice a whisper. "We did it. Lyra, we're together, no matter what." Muttered their love a foundation for the future, a future that would soon draw the world's attention in ways they never imagined. The quiet rhythm of family life settled over Daniel, Lyra, and Naya in the months following their wedding, the crisp November days of 2005 giving way to a gentle winter. Their small Asheville home filled with the warmth of shared meals, Nia's laughter echoing as she taught Lyra how to build a snowman in their tiny yard, her small hands guiding Lyra's, her voice bright. "See, you make a big ball, then a smaller one. Now he needs a nose." And Lyra's smile lit up the gray morning, her English now fluent enough to reply, "Like this? Nia, he looks funny." While Daniel watched from the porch, his heart full, his dark hands wrapped around a mug of hot cocoa, the struggles of Lyra's integration fading into memory, the town slowly accepting her as one of their own, her strength and kindness winning over even the skeptics, the diner owner now boasting about Lyra's famous pancakes to anyone who'd listen. But their peaceful routine shifted one frosty morning when a local reporter from the Asheville Citizen-Times knocked on their door. A young woman with a notepad and a curious smile, her voice eager. "I heard about your story, Lyra's life in the wild, how she saved you and your daughter, your marriage. It's incredible. Can I interview you for the paper?" And Daniel hesitated, his protective instincts flaring. But Lyra's hand found his, her voice steady. "I would want to, Daniel. They know me, not scared." Her courage a quiet fire. And the interview ran the next week. A front-page story titled "Wild Woman Finds Love in Asheville." The black and white photo of Lyra, Daniel, and Naya smiling on their porch, capturing hearts across the county. The article detailing Lyra's survival in the forest, her rescue of Daniel and Naya from the wolves, her journey into modernity, and their love that defied all odds. The story spreading like wildfire. Letters pouring in from readers, some offering support, others asking for more. And soon, national outlets picked it up. A CBS reporter arriving in a van with a clunky 2005-era camera. Her voice enthusiastic. "Your story's a sensation. We'd love to feature you on the evening news. America needs to hear this." And Daniel agreed. his arm around Lyra as they sat on their couch, Nia between them, the broadcast airing to millions. Lyra's halting but heartfelt words. I find family, I find love. Daniel, Nia, my home, touching viewers nationwide. The story becoming a phenomenon. Fan mail piling up. Children sending Nia drawings of the Wolf Lady. And by spring 2006, a Hollywood producer called, his voice crackling through the rotary phone. I'm with Paramount. We want to turn your story into a movie. We'll send a screenwriter to meet you. This could be big. And Daniel's jaw dropped, his voice a mix of disbelief and excitement. A movie? About us? Lyra? What do you think? Her eyes sparkled, her voice soft. Our story, for world to see. I say yes. And the screenwriter arrived, a kind woman named Ellen, spending weeks with them. Her notebook filling with details. Lyra's first taste of ice cream, Nia's flower girl dress, the poacher's attack, her script capturing the raw beauty of their journey. And by late 2006, production began. The film titled Wild Heart, a young actress cast as Lyra, her pale skin and green eyes a close match. Daniel portrayed by a rising black actor, their chemistry electric. Nia delighted to see her character played by a spunky child star, and the family visited the set in Georgia. Lyra marveling at the fake forest, her voice a whisper. This, my home, but not real. Daniel chuckling, his arm around her. It's magic, Lyra, they're telling our story. The premiere in 2007, a whirlwind, the family dressed in borrowed finery, Nia's eyes wide at the red carpet, her voice a squeal. Daddy, we're famous. Eyeing the film a critical and commercial success, earning accolades for its heartfelt portrayal of love and resilience. Lyra's story inspiring countless others, and as they returned to Asheville, their lives forever changed. Daniel held Lyra close, his voice a promise. We built this together. Our family, our story. I love you. Lyra's smile radiant, her voice clear. I love you. Daniel, always. Their journey from the wild to the world, a testament to the power of love. A legacy Nia would carry into the future. Their small home now a beacon of hope. From a wolf attack to a Hollywood film, Daniel, Lyra, and Nia found love and fame. Thanks for listening. Please like, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on for our latest stories. Your support means the world to us.